So, here we are, game number 1 of this best of 3, of a best of 5, and I'll explain that in a second for anyone just joining us now. Spawning in the bottom right-hand position as the yellow Protoss player. Representing Missing in Action, it's CheeseKing. And his opponent down in the bottom left, the red Zerg from Team Acer, Nerchio. So, both of these two players are going to be battling it out to try and win their team a point. And this is, of course, for the third place of the ESL Euro Series. Currently 1-0 up to Missing in Action, and the way it works is two players battling out a best of 3. Whoever wins that best of 3 wins their team a point. The first team to get 3 points wins. Ta-da! And all of that is pretty cool. So, currently it's 1-0 up, as I said, for Missing in Action. Starbuck beating Scarlet 2-1 in a ZvZ. And now, CheeseKing has the opportunity to get Acer onto match point already. That would be pretty intense, that would be pretty amazing. And it's certainly what he's going to want to be doing. Nerchio, though, standing in his way. Not sure how he's going to be opening as of yet. He's up to 15, so it's going to be most likely a spawning pool. There we go. Just coming down. It's a safe way to open, even on a big map like Frost. You could get cannon rushed, and that would always put a downer on your day. Meanwhile, over at CheeseKing's base, just getting a gateway, getting down a gas. It's looking to be a pretty standard gate expand, and that's all cool. Getting a 1 gate expand is generally considered the norm. On Frost, you can go for a Forge Fast expansion. This is narrow, but so many Protoss players just preferring the gate expand in terms of preference and how it works. So apparently a little bit of lag issue going on here. Hopefully that will get fixed up fairly quickly. Should be good. I'm not noticing anything on my side, so hopefully it's not anything to do with the spectators and something locally, and the CheeseKing can get that sorted out. Meanwhile, we can see, of course, that Nerchio just busy getting down his own natural expansion. Everything looking fairly good there. Just going for the standardest of standard openings, just while he really tests out his opponent. Probably tries to work out what is CheeseKing going to be throwing at me. A gas is likely to get taken relatively soon, and if he does take down a gas, then that'll just most likely be for speed. A third base from a gateway expand opening comes down at about 6 to 7 minute mark, but nothing too crazy going on. But yeah, nothing too crazy going on here for the moment. CheeseKing appears to be ready, so we should be getting back into this game shortly. Of course, thanks all for tuning in this evening. If you are enjoying my casting, I'd be very grateful if you would follow this Twitch channel and also my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Madals91. But yeah, players are ready. Looks like we are going to be going yet again. The Cybercore on its way down now for CheeseKing. Nerchio, just playing it stand. I'm waiting to see this gas get started up. It's the most likely course that he'll be taking. Interestingly, from CheeseKing, he's coming to scout the top right and then down to bottom left. And the reason I say that's quite interesting is because, unless I'm mistaken, it's quicker just going up here and deducing them in the bottom left. The only downside to that is that you may not get down the scout. But for the moment, CheeseKing just sees that, pulls back, and places down a pylon relatively soon, most likely. Just in a proxy position. Round here is a great position to proxy. Nerchio, of course, has worked out where his opponent is because he came over. Note though that he pulled that Overlord back the second he saw the pylon. And the purpose of that is Overlords have slightly greater vision range than buildings. So therefore you can get them out without your opponent knowing where you've spawned. Second hatch is coming down. So Nerchio playing this a bit differently to normal. Normally when you see a spawning pool first into a hatch, you then get a gas down, and this third is a little bit later, but this third actually came down at around 4 minutes, so a normal timing should have been, say, a Nexus first or some kind of Forge Fast expansion. Instead, these firstlings just going to be putting on a mild amount of pressure. Going to start chipping away at this pylon. Nothing spectacular, but nothing lost either. Just showed the mothership core was there, showed the timings. Should see a second gateway come down there, so up to 3 gates, and this is where we tend to get some diversions in what these two are going to be aiming to do. And it's really going to be CheeseKing what he decides to do, and it is going to be that third additional gateway. So some 4 gate pressure going to be coming down. He's got a probe ready to place the proxy pylon, and he's going to be pressuring into this third hatch, and potentially now we're about to see what is going to be coming out from Nerchio, or why you don't tend to go for this super fast third hatch up against the gateway expand, because Nerchio is about to face some pressure. Considering there's only one gas, it's likely to be a significant number of zealots, because it's basically impossible for CheeseKing to be able to afford that much else. Especially since he's tied up some gas in a sentry to be a bit more defensive. That sentry makes things look all safe and normal though. Nerchio is scouting in, wants to get a little bit of information about what kind of tech is here, sees that there's no second gas, and is now going to move forward, and he should be able to get the scout down on that 4th gateway. There we go. So now he knows that this is coming. Instantly starts up a spine crawler at his natural base, and a decent number of zerglings. I'm going to go up to 15 lings. Another pylon is now down, and in comes the warp in of zealots. This is where Nerchio needs to play it cool but tough. He can't allow this number of zealots to get too large too quick. Already retreating back, getting down a roach warren, as that easily deals with these zealots, but it's a long way out before it's done. The Queen's prioritizing up against that mothership core. Nice engagement angle here for CheeseKing, using those mineral fields to just bottleneck the zerglings up. The Queen's though taking quite a bit of damage from these zealots. Time warp allows the zealots to close up the distance. One Queen goes down already. The next wave of warp-ins should imminently be ready for CheeseKing, who's just continuing on with this pressure. Nerchio, with a lot of zerglings out though, and those 3 queens, is applying some more pressure. The first few roaches are in production, some of which I hope are down here. Yeah, all 3 are getting in at this 3rd base. Very important. And, well, all in all, this is looking pretty solid. We've got a couple of pokes coming in from that spine crawler. Just going to be going and having a relatively good time. So many zealots on their way through here. And, well, this is looking fairly good for CheeseKing at the moment. And, well, as long as these pokes keep coming through, as long as he is able to keep doing this, good times. Queens getting blocked out. Roaches, though, should be able to stop this pretty fast now, and this is really the end of this aggression, so it's where we summarize the damage that has been done. No workers were actually killed there, and a single queen went down. That was pretty much it. But what it was able to achieve was massively reducing the drone count of Nerchio at this stage. He's only have 41 drones, but he's still up against what CheeseKing has. CheeseKing getting down the Immortal, getting down that Forge too, and if he keeps all of this going, he can follow this up with an Immortal Sentry all-in fairly easily, probably with +1 attack. But Nerchio has now got a heap of time to drone heavily, put on a little bit of pressure of his own, and generally try and be very annoying. Meanwhile, Nerchio not attempting to go up into lair as of yet, just getting his own evolution chamber down for the time being. Probably just going to be for a quick upgrade. Maybe +1 carapace if he doesn't get a lair down soon, because then that benefits obviously the zerglings and the roaches. But since the lair's getting started, more likely to be +1 missile attack, just since hydras would be the normal progression on from these roaches early. So, one Immortal was down. I'm not sure if Nerchio was able to scout that. He should have been able to get enough vision to just about spot it if it was out in time. But the second Immortal now coming down, a 3rd Immortal on its way. Remember, there is still a proxy pylon there. A hallucinated Phoenix going to just try and get a little bit of information and get basically a good scout down on what Nerchio's doing. This lair timing to see where the hydras could be down on the field. But for the most part, not seeing too much. There's a +1 carapace too, just going to be benefiting those lings and the roaches obviously, so it gets more use out of it. CheeseKing though, he's got his 3rd Immortal just popping out, likely to see, or we should at least see, a Warp Prism follow that up. There we go, so he's got some way to warp in. Gonna be starting to move across the map now. The Hydra Den not started, instead Roach Speed gets prioritized, the Hydralisk Den following that up. Roach Hydra very effective against Immortal Sentry pushes due to the high DPS output. Lots of lings though on their way out. Nerchio prepared for this to be coming. He knows there's no expansion due to having a single roach at this 3rd base, and that information allows him to know that, okay, this is some kind of 2 base play. It's going to be a 2 base follow-up. It's hitting a lot later though because of that Zealot coming in, or that Zealot push coming in earlier. It's just not as potent. While there aren't any Hydralisks yet, the Hydra Den is finished. Nerchio has a decent amount of money. He's going to be trying to force a couple of force fields out nice and early, and he does get a few. Only loses a couple of lings in exchange for that. A lot more lings running forward, which isn't great, but Zealots now getting warped in. We need to see a bit more play come through here, and, well, are we going to see CheeseKing go for it? Nerchio's in a good defensive spot. 9 Hydralisks are about to pop out. as long as this keeps going, well, the longer it keeps going, the worse it gets for CheeseKing, unfortunately. His force fields have to be exceptional. He's got a good number of sentries there. 2 time warps going to go down, and he is en route to try and win this game for him and his team. A couple of force fields go down. The 2 time warps deplete all of the mothership core energy from actually anything more being cast. He didn't get that many units. Nerchio retreating back. He's got the safety of a spine crawler and a lot more units coming through. He's going to try and get a good concave just to maximize the damage output of the Zerg forces. Still waiting for the time being to see whether or not CheeseKing will move forward. But look at the supply difference. Now, a 30 supply advantage. Nerchio wraps around with a lot of those units. The Zerglings managing to get this round. A couple of blue-stated Archons coming in at the back. But Nerchio closing up that distance. Completes around pretty much. And this army just annihilated for the time being. One model and a couple of sentries sitting back at home. But that is not a huge amount. The Zealot warp-in is going to do some good damage, may very well get this hatchery, but the fact that the majority of the army has been taken out is devastating to CheeseKing. CheeseKing falling back, he has got himself back on equal basis, and well, that is good news for him short term, because he's still got a couple of minerals left in his main base, but that isn't going to last for a huge amount of time. The 4th base has been seen, so in comes some Zealots. They definitely will get the cancel on this unless something crazy happens. But yep, Nerchio instantly cancelling that, but going for the counter-attack. Is there enough to defend here? Well, the Mothership Core is well off the required energy to poke an overcharge. There's a couple of sentries, but their energy not that high. The force field's being blown pretty early. A good amount of a wall off coming down. Just going to try and slow this move forward, but the gateways, the photon cannon, really all that stand in the way. They can get focused down exceptionally fast. We do have another warp in of Zealots though towards the main base. Nerchio already with a lot of lings. Unfortunately, these Zealots are on move command, not attack command, so many getting killed off before they even get through. A few more Zealots making their way towards the 3rd, but Nerchio pushing in, crashing through the natural base. Devastating amounts of damage. The Mothership Core will go down before a photon overcharge was activated due to the amount of damage, or due to the amount of energy remaining. The 2 Immortals taking significant amounts of damage, and well, they're all getting taken down, and unfortunately for CheeseKing, this isn't looking great for him. He's lost a lot of production facilities. While he did go for some great counterattacks, it isn't going to be enough. GG is called, and Nerchio will take game number 1 of this best of 3.